Hey, welcome back to Cool Classics. Today we're going to take a look at the life and career of Lisa Loring, best known for playing Wednesday Addams on the Addams Family TV series. I got some cool clips, some freaky facts. Here we go. She was born Lisa Ann DeSenses, February 16th, 1958, in the Marshall Islands on the island of Kwajalein. Both of her parents were in the United States Navy, and that's where they were stationed at the time. But a year later, the two of them divorced, and her mother was restationed in Hawaii, so Lisa lived there with her. Her mother was discharged from the United States Navy about a year later, and so she moved Lisa and her into Los Angeles, and her mother started to go on auditions for television shows. At one of those auditions, there was also an opening for a child actor, so they let Lisa, at 3 years old, audition for the part, and she got it, a small role on an episode of Dr. Kildare, titled Maybe Love Will Save My Apartment House.
They're lancing. Oh, just a minute. I thought you were Mr. Papanax.
Well, who's Mr. Papanax?
He's the landlord.
Chicken paprika? How long you had it simmer?
Don't ask me. Tommy's doing it.
Mom can't cook. I simmer in about an hour. She eats health foods.
But I have to, darling. I'm a model, and Mommy must have a beautiful complexion.
I like Uncle Leonard better than him. Uncle Leonard has gray hair.
His hair's going to be a lot grayer before this is over.
Did you notice something freaky about that doorknob? It was right in the center of the door. I've never seen anything like that. Now, back to Lisa's first appearance on television.
Is that thick enough yet?
Uncle Leonard eats in restaurants.
Here, darling, help Mommy.
What can you do if you're a doctor?
Uncle Leonard is a doctor.
Okay, sweetie. I said steak, and steak it is. What's the matter?
I'm gonna tell Uncle Leonard.
All right, tell Uncle Leonard.
He owns a hospital.
I don't know, what's his name?
Gillespie.
Leonard Gillespie.
After that, she only went to a handful of other auditions and didn't land any parts. But then in 1964, her mother takes her into an open casting call that's looking for a small girl between the ages of 4 and 7 years old. Lisa said that this was a cattle call audition, which meant you did not need experience to show up, and over 75 girls were there that day. The first thing they did was ask your age, then they checked your height, then they wanted to hear you speak to make sure that you could enunciate clearly and you didn't have like baby talk. After that, they sent home the ones that were too tall or didn't speak clearly enough. Then the rest got to come in and they took still pictures of their face and told them, "Thank you, we'll see you tomorrow." The next day when she arrived, there were only about 12 girls remaining, which was a good sign. But now it was time to read your lines, and Lisa couldn't read. But luckily, most of the kids couldn't read, and the producers were well prepared for this. All they wanted the children to be able to do was repeat the lines that they gave them, and in the style that they recommended. So, Lisa, can you say, "Lurch, do you want to go to the playground?" in an excited way? And most of the kids couldn't do this, even after multiple tries. But Lisa could. So at this point, they narrowed it down to 3 girls, and Lisa was one of them. So they went ahead and made costumes to fit all 3, and they ran them through real screen tests on film, and they would play it back and see how they interacted with the other actors. Now, all of the other actors were going through the same thing. They were trying to find the correct person to play each part. And I think they did a great job. But just think, they could have had this lady playing Grandmama. We almost had a different Pugsley. There's the final four. And Jackie Coogan almost wasn't Uncle Fester. And what about Lurch? Just think if they wouldn't have picked Ted Cassidy. That would have been a tragedy. You need to check out my video on him. I got more behind the scenes there too. Now, once they decided that it was Carolyn Jones to play Morticia and not the other ones, they had her work with the three girls. And once they had Lisa next to her standing up in the same outfits, they knew she was the right one because she could do all of the other stuff perfectly, but she also looked like her daughter. So on September 18th, 1964, the Addams Family debuted.
I just love to hear the sound.
Lisa is a big part of one of the most popular episodes of the Addams Family of all time. It's the one where they teach Lurch how to dance. And Wednesday dances too. And let's just say this has been played and memed, and I don't think you can go a whole year without seeing it in your feed somewhere on the internet.
You trust me? I'm your friend. I'll teach you to dance.
I like being miserable.
Grandmama taught me. She's a great dancer. Really, I'll have you dancing in no time. Then if you learn how to dance well, she'll think you're boss.
Boss.
Come on, now you try it.
Lurch, the music has stopped.
No, but I can't.
Lisa went on to appear in all 64 episodes of The Addams Family, and she says that her time on there was wonderful, that all of the Addams Family TV show was canceled in 1966, and the same year Lisa appeared on the Phyllis Diller show for 2 episodes playing Susie Pruitt. Then after that, she appeared one time on The Girl from U.N.C.L.E. episode The Montori Device Affair.
Can Nero stay?
No, he cannot stay. Now, I told you that before.
Nero will come to the party later. You will come, won't you?
I will get all dressed up.
I don't want her at the party.
What a rude thing to say, Felicia. What an awful thing.
This episode is kind of freaky, and there's also a special guest in it. See if you can figure out who he is.
Felicia, what do you want?
Will you come to the party, Conrad?
No, I can't, Felicia. I'm very busy.
Straighten him out. What this California needs is to be straightened out again.
I do not. I was straightened out just 3 days ago now. Oh, no. Well, I'd rather... Now, Tulio. Tulio. Telephone, Tulio.
That's Lisa's old dancing partner, Lurch. Yep, the one and only Ted Cassidy.
I'm looking for a gentleman named Nero Lombardo. I've been told that he was...
He's over there with Conrad.
Where did you get that?
It's mine.
What? Where did you get... What's going on, little girl?
Now, when this episode aired, Lisa was 8 years old, and it would end up being her final appearance on television for many years. Her mother would end up taking her to more auditions, but there just weren't that many that were looking for a little girl to be in them. And if they were, it was for a fresh face to kick off a new series. They didn't want to recycle a child actor. At the same time, her mother's alcoholism had really gotten worse. And by the time she was in high school, it was really out of control, and Lisa was spending all of her time with her friends. And at the age of 15, Lisa really wanted to leave her mother's custody, but she wasn't allowed to. So she ended up marrying her childhood sweetheart, Pharrell Fomberg, and the two of them were then allowed to live together. And so 1 year later, they had a daughter named Vanessa, and things seemed to be okay. But later that year, her mother passed away due to complications of her alcoholism, and the following year, Lisa and her husband got divorced. So Lisa was now a young single mother on her own. Lisa said these were very hard and confusing times for her, but luckily by the time she was 18, she was allowed to start receiving some money each month from the money that had been saved for her from working on the Addams Family. And this was due in part to the way the payment was structured, and she has to thank Jackie Coogan, who was a big part of the system that helped make sure that her earnings on the show were not taken or touched by anyone else, not even her mother. Although she didn't receive royalties or residuals from the syndication and reruns, she still had a pretty good nest egg that got her through the early part of her life. Now, after all that time of not being in Hollywood, she gets a call in 1978 to appear in the movie Halloween with the new Addams Family. They're going to have back the original cast, and she's going to reprise the role of Wednesday, but with a little twist.
Welcome home.
Thank you, Lurch. Handsome as ever.
Wednesday, my dear child.
Mother.
Never say that we were false of heart, though absence seemed our flame to qualify.
Hello, Wednesday Jr. Hello, Pugsley Jr.
Hello, Wednesday Senior.
So playing the role of Wednesday Senior inspired Lisa to give Hollywood another shot, this time as an adult. It turns out this wasn't a very easy task to accomplish. From 1978 to 1980, she only appeared 4 times on television, and the parts were really small. She's in the Fantasy Island episode titled Island of the Lost Women, playing a beautiful woman. And then she's in the TV movie Gabe and Walker, and her character's name is Sexy Girl. Then she's in 2 episodes of Barnaby Jones playing the small role of Amanda. And also in Barnaby Jones co-starring is Lee Merriweather, whom I made a video on just a couple weeks ago.
Are you all right? Huh?
Yes, I'm fine. I'm so glad to be home.
In 1980, she lands the reoccurring role on As the World Turns, playing Cricket Montgomery. But unfortunately, her character only lasts 7 episodes. In 1981, she marries Doug Stevenson, who was an actor on the soap opera Search for Tomorrow, and the two of them had a daughter named Mary Ann, and again, Lisa leaves Hollywood for the family life. During this time, Lisa started working as an interior designer, and it seemed like everything was going along really well, but in 1984, the two of them filed for divorce. Single again with a young daughter, Lisa continued to just work hard and do her thing, but in 1987 she decided to go on more auditions. This led to her appearing in 3 B-rate slasher films, Blood Frenzy, Savage Harbor, and Iced. Now, while filming one of these, the director heard that she was also an interior designer, and he said that he might have a project for her. It turns out that he also directs adult films, and they had just rented a mansion that had empty rooms in there that they were going to shoot some films in, and they needed someone to put furnishings in there but make it look real, like someone actually lives there, and he wanted to know if she could do that for a certain budget, and she said yes, so she went ahead and designed the set for them. And from there, they continued to use her every time they had another big project like that, because a lot of people would rent their mansions out for stuff like this, but you had to bring in your own furnishings and take them away when you were done. So while she's doing these jobs, she's also working with the people that are writing the scripts to these adult films, and she needs to know what's going on. Like, do I need to bring in bar stools? Is there a pool table? What do we got going on? And over the course of the time, she starts to have input on the scripts. And before you know it, she's writing the entire scripts and designing the sets herself. Then one day, one of the makeup artists doesn't show up on set for filming, so they call Lisa. She shows up and she does the makeup for the women. So now she's writing the script, designing the set, and doing their makeup. All of a sudden, she's a very important employee of the second largest adult film company. She says, I didn't see that coming by a mile. But what she really didn't see happening was her falling in love with Jerry Butler, one of the male actors in the films. Now, Jerry was also madly in love with Lisa, and he told her that he would leave the adult film industry behind if she would just marry him, and she accepted. What happens over the next few years is almost too much for me to unpack in this video, but I'll give you the highlights since it did happen in a public forum. Jerry went ahead and quit the adult film industry and instead focused on traditional movies, which he had already appeared in a few low-budget films himself. So over the next few years, that was mainly his focus, but the work was far and few between. Lisa continued to work for the same company, doing makeup, providing scripts, and designing the sets. Both of them started to hang around with each other's friends and the people that worked in the low-budget film and adult film industry. Eventually, drugs are introduced to them through some acquaintances. They try them. Lisa has the addictive gene passed from her mother's side, and it triggers it, and she has an issue with this one substance for a little while. Jerry, struggling to find enough work to keep up with his share of the bills, went ahead and started to appear in adult films with a different company so that Lisa wouldn't find out, and he would bring home the money and tell her that he got paid to be a union worker that day at a studio or on a movie set. Of course, Lisa finds out and all heck breaks loose, and this all happened right around the same time that her friend Kelly Van Dyke, who was the daughter of actor Jerry Van Dyke, called Lisa one night saying that she was having a lot of issues and needed help. So Lisa heads over there as fast as she could, and when she opens the door, she sees that Kelly had already taken her life. This was very traumatizing to Lisa, and dealing with her own issues, she fell into a really dark place. One day, she stole a bottle of insulin from one of her friends who was a diabetic. She took it home and injected it in herself in order to end her own life. But luckily, the paramedics and then the doctors were able to revive her and bring her back to good health. That turned out to be a major turning point in Lisa's life. From that moment on, she stopped using drugs. She went into treatment, and she was trying to save her marriage, which is something she desperately wanted to do. So as time went on, Lisa was having a hard time getting things straightened out with her husband Jerry, so she turned to daytime talk shows such as Sally Jessy Raphael and Geraldo Rivera, and would go on there seeking advice and looking for help with her marriage.
Little Wednesday from TV's The Addams Family is all grown up and married to a porn star.
Jerry has appeared in over 600 X-rated adult films.
I'm a very monogamous person. I am not promiscuous. I do not believe in it. When we first met and began our relationship, we had an agreement that he would not continue doing porno movies. If we were to carry on this relationship, I would not remain with him if he continued to act in the adult business and have sex with other women. He agreed.
And you know something? She's right. She's right. I thought I was going to be able to just say, oh, I love you, I do, and get out. It's very tough. It wasn't easy just learning how to give myself to one particular person, although when I did,
if you don't do porn movies, what can you do for a living? What skills do you have?
I could tell jokes.
One more question. I noticed the females have wedding rings on. I noticed you don't have one. Are you two married, living together?
It's not an easy life. Like I said, I'm here to tell the truth. We were very, very down and out, and I honked it one day.
Needless to say, Lisa ended up divorcing Jerry and just going her own way. As for Jerry, he continued to make adult films for a few more years, then he soured on the industry and wrote a book called Raw Talent. And in this book, he exposed all the dirty secrets of the porn industry, from corruption, mob influence, all the illicit drug use, and the industry turned on him. He was blackballed, he was out of work, so he moved back to his home state. That's where he started working regular jobs, eventually becoming a full-time ambulance driver in Brooklyn, New York, and he would take senior citizens or disabled people back and forth between their appointments. In 2018, he noticed something wrong with him, and they discovered he had a tumor, and when they went in to remove it, it was cancerous and had spread already, and he died later that year at age 58. Now, a couple freaky facts that I found out about him along the way was, one, that his father was the longtime manager of the original Nathan's Hot Dog Emporium in Coney Island. And the other is that Jerry actually won the 1980 Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest under his real name, Paul Siderman. As for Lisa, she pretty much just had a normal life from that point on. She worked regular jobs and stayed out of the public eye. She didn't appear anywhere in the 1990s, and then in the early 2000s, she started to appear at some Comic Cons and places and signing autographs, and everything seems really good with her. She did get remarried in 2003 to Graham Rich, but then in 2014, the two of them filed for divorce. I love making videos with a happy ending, and this one fits that criteria. Lisa has been through some stuff in her life, but she always seemed to make it through it. She's a survivor. As of October 30th, 2022, Lisa is 64 years old and in good health. She's also out there appearing at Comic Cons and other special events around the country, so if you get a chance, go up and meet her, get a picture with her. Now, here's a freaky picture for me that I found along the way. That guy on the left, his name is Wednesday. He named himself after her character on the Addams Family. His two favorite shows were The Munsters and Addams Family, and his band is called Wednesday 13. I seen them open for Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper on their Gruesome Twosome tour, and there he is meeting Lisa. Freaky and cool. So don't be scared to go up and meet her yourself. Also, I don't make videos that often. You may never find this channel again, so don't forget to subscribe before you click out of here. Make sure you check out my other Addams Family videos. Ted Cassidy, Lurch, Cousin It, they will blow your mind. Cool classics.